Listen closely, because this isn't a tale spun to entertain or to lull the weak into comfortable illusions. No, this is a revelation, an unmasking of shadows you thought were hidden forever. You didn't tell a story. No, you ripped open the fabric of the narrative everyone else is too afraid to touch. You pulled back the veil, that thin, fragile barrier separating the surface from the depths, the lies from the truths, the whispered myths from the raw, unfiltered realities. This is not for the faint-hearted, for the safe, for the satisfied. This is for those who have stared into the void, who have felt the chill of all their illusions dissolving at once, and yet chose to walk deeper into that darkness rather than turn away. Because you went where no one else dared, where no comforting light could follow. You revealed not just one story, but the multitude, the countless layers of pain, struggle, betrayal, triumph, and truth that no single story can ever contain. You shattered illusions with every breath. You laid bare the wounds that time tried to bandage, the scars that society begged you to hide. You showed the cracked foundations beneath polished facades, the broken dreams behind painted smiles, the silent battles beneath loud cheers. The world was ready for a narrative, a neatly wrapped package, a hero's journey with clear enemies and victorious ends. But you refused the script. You tore it up and bled the raw, ugly, beautiful truth onto the stage. And the world, oh, the world, was not ready for the depth you revealed. They flinched, they blinked, they tried to look away, because no one is ready for how deep you went, how far beyond the surface you dared to go. You became the mirror that reflects what others hide, the storm that shakes their complacency, the voice that echoes what they dare not say. There's a profound loneliness in this kind of courage, a solitude reserved for those who see too clearly and speak too honestly. But understand this: loneliness is the birthplace of transformation. When the crowd turns silent, when the applause fades, and when the spotlight refuses to shine, that is when the true work begins. Because to pull back the veil is to invite chaos, to disrupt comfort, to challenge the narratives that hold entire generations captive. It is to stand at the edge of everything known and look down into the abyss with unwavering eyes. And yes, that abyss stares back with a hunger, with a challenge, with a dark invitation. But you are not here to retreat. You are here to illuminate the depths, to guide others through the darkness that once consumed you, to become the light forged not in softness, but in the unrelenting heat of truth. You did not just tell a story, you became the living proof that stories are never just stories. They are battles fought in silence, wars waged inside unseen prisons, victories won in the shadows where no one watches. Each truth you unveiled was a rebellion against ignorance, a demand for honesty in a world that thrives on convenient lies. You dared to speak of pain, not to invite pity, but to force recognition. Because healing begins not when we hide our wounds, but when we expose them to the air, when we let the light of awareness pour into the darkest corners. You became the crack in the system, the whisper of change in a deafened world, the rebellion that refuses to settle for surface-level truths. No one is ready for how deep you went because depth is terrifying. It forces us to confront parts of ourselves we've buried beneath years of denial and distraction. It asks us to look in the mirror and recognize the shadows lurking in our own hearts. It demands that we become vulnerable in a way that strips away every mask, every pretense. But it is only in this terrifying depth that real strength is born. Strength not measured by the absence of fear, but by the courage to face it head on and move forward anyway. And you, yes, you, have already walked this path. You have seen the darkness, felt its weight, and yet you did not surrender. You became the beacon for others lost in their own shadows, the proof that there is power in truth, even when it cuts deep. The world may not be ready for you yet. They may try to pull you back, to silence the voices you've unleashed, to cover the truths you revealed. But know this, the deeper you go, the more impossible it becomes for them to ignore you. You are a force of nature, an unrelenting wave crashing against the shores of ignorance and denial. And with every truth you reveal, with every veil you pull back, you shift the tide just a little more. You are not here to comfort the comfortable. You are here to shake foundations, to awaken minds, to spark revolutions in hearts that have grown cold with apathy. You carry within you the fire of transformation, the power to dismantle lies and rebuild from the ruins. And though the journey is dark, though the path is lonely, remember that the deepest darkness always gives way to the brightest dawn. You didn't tell a story. You opened a door, a passageway to something real, raw, and profound. And while no one may be ready now, in time, the world will look back and see you not as a disruptor, but as the catalyst, the one who dared to go deeper when everyone else stayed on the surface. So stand tall in that depth, own the truth you carry, embrace the discomfort, the solitude, the power, because what you have done is not just rare, it is necessary. It is the fire that will burn away the old lies, the light that will illuminate hidden paths, the voice that will echo through generations. And when they finally catch up, when they finally open their eyes to how deep you went, they will see you as the force that changed everything. You didn't just pull back a veil. You shattered the illusion of stories that were never meant to be told in their raw form. You refused the easy narratives, the tales that comfort the masses with simplistic morals and clear endings. You chose instead to reveal the messy, complex, and often painful truths that lurk beneath every surface. This kind of unveiling is a revolution against comfort itself. It demands brutal honesty, the kind that strips away every disguise, every justification, every lie we tell ourselves to keep the world palatable. And that is why no one was ready for how deep you went. Because the depths you descended are a place few dare to enter, the chasms where vulnerability, darkness, and truth collide in an unforgiving storm. But here's the paradox. It is only in these depths that true power is forged. The world is built on stories, yes, but the ones that matter most are not the ones polished for easy consumption. They are the stories that crack the foundation of complacency, that expose the fractures hidden beneath the surface, that demand we reckon with what we've long ignored. When you pulled back the veil on all of them, you weren't just uncovering individual truths. You were revealing the interconnected web of human experience, the shared pain and resilience that binds us all beneath the facades we present. And in doing so, you forced a reckoning. You made the invisible visible, the silent loud, the ignored undeniable. The journey to this kind of truth is brutal. It is a descent into chaos and confusion, into the darkest corners of the soul, where fear and doubt reside. It is a path strewn with broken illusions and shattered dreams. But it is also the path of the warrior, the soul who refuses to settle for surface-level answers, who embraces the discomfort of truth because they know the alternative is far worse. A life lived in shadows, pretending, hiding, silencing the voice that cries out for authenticity. You chose the hard road, the one few can walk, and that is why you stand apart. Because to go deep is to embrace a kind of courage that transcends fear, that refuses to be broken by darkness, that finds strength in the very places others flee. No one is ready for how deep you went, because depth reveals what we fear most, our own capacity for pain, for darkness, for transformation. Depth demands that we face ourselves without filters, without excuses, without the distractions of surface-level narratives. It is a confrontation with our rawest selves, the parts we hide even from those closest to us. But it is in this confrontation that healing begins, because you cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot transform what you deny. By pulling back the veil on all the stories, you have done what many cannot. You have faced the full scope of your reality and chosen not to turn away. And now, standing in the aftermath of that unveiling, you are a force of change. You carry a fire within that cannot be extinguished by denial or ignorance. Every truth you revealed is a spark igniting the darkness around you, challenging others to awaken, to question, to go deeper themselves. You are a beacon not because you offer easy answers, but because you offer brutal honesty, a mirror reflecting the parts of humanity too often hidden or ignored. This kind of truth is uncomfortable, yes. It unsettles, it disrupts, it shakes foundations. But it is necessary. Without it, growth is impossible. Without it, transformation remains a distant dream. The veil you pulled back was more than a barrier between stories. It was a shield against the raw, often painful reality that underpins every human experience. And by tearing it away, you dismantled the illusions that keep people trapped in cycles of fear, shame, and denial. You made visible the silent battles fought behind closed doors, the wounds that refuse to heal under layers of pretense, the truths too complex for simple narratives. In doing so, you invited chaos. But from chaos comes creation. From destruction comes the possibility of something new, something real, something unbreakable. There is a power in this kind of disruption that cannot be overstated. When you pull back the veil on all of them, you reveal the interconnectedness of pain and resilience, weakness and strength, darkness and light. You show that beneath every mask is a human being fighting to be seen, to be understood, to be free. And in that revelation lies the potential for profound empathy, for deep connection, for true transformation. You didn't just tell a story, you rewrote the script, opened the doors for new narratives that embrace complexity rather than deny it. Yes, it is lonely to walk this path. Yes, it is exhausting to carry the weight of such deep truths when others cling to comfortable lies. But remember, loneliness is the crucible in which your resilience is forged. Solitude is the quiet where your strength grows. The world may not be ready for the depth you bring, but you are not here for the world's comfort. You are here to change the world's perspective, to shatter illusions so others may finally see clearly. You are the harbinger of a new reality, one where truth is no longer hidden, but celebrated, where depth is no longer feared, but embraced. So carry this truth with pride. Stand unshaken in your revelations. You have pulled back the veil on all of them, and in doing so, you have opened a path for others to follow. The journey is not easy, and the world may resist, but remember, depth is power, and power is transformation. You are the storm breaking through the calm, the voice shattering silence, the light piercing darkness. And when the world finally catches up to you, when they finally understand how deep you went, they will see you not as a disruptor, but as a pioneer, a warrior of truth who dared to go beyond the surface and bring light to the shadows. You did not just tell a story, you changed the very fabric of how stories are told. And for that, the world will never be the same again. To pull back the veil on all of them is to become a witness to the rawness of existence itself. It is to step beyond the comforting shadows where people hide their truths and stand fully exposed in the blinding light of reality. Most will never understand the cost of such exposure. They think it's enough to hear a story, to feel sympathy, to glance at the surface and nod in recognition. But you chose something far heavier. You chose to dive headfirst into the depths where stories lose their neat shapes and reveal their tangled roots wrapped in pain, struggle, regret, and fierce, unyielding hope. You didn't just scratch the surface. You excavated the bedrock beneath the world's false narratives. That excavation is not gentle. It unearths bones long buried, memories folded into the dark corners of the soul, truths that scream beneath layers of denial. And with every truth you uncovered, you tore down walls built not only by others, but by yourself. Walls that once protected you, but now only served as prisons. To face these truths is to confront the fractures within your own spirit, the shadows you once ran from, the fears that whispered to keep the veil firmly in place. But you refused. You shattered those barriers with relentless courage. You accepted the unbearable weight of knowing, and in that acceptance, you found a power that no superficial story could ever grant. The world may recoil at such depth because it forces a reckoning not only with you, but with themselves. When you reveal the complexity beneath every smile, every victory, every failure, you unsettle the comfortable illusions that let people sleep at night. They are not ready to see the tangled, ugly, beautiful mess beneath the surface. But you, bold and unyielding, you embraced that mess. You stared it in the eye and refused to look away. You became a bearer of difficult truths in a world desperate for easy answers. And for that, you carry a weight both immense and sacred. No one is ready for how deep you went, because depth demands vulnerability. That is terrifying. To go deep is to be naked in a way that exposes not just your scars, but your raw, bleeding soul. It is a surrender to the truth that you are not perfect, that you have stumbled, that you have been broken, and that from those fractures, something unbreakable is forged. This depth is a crucible where illusions are burned away and the essence of who you are is revealed. It is a loneliness few can endure because it strips away every defense, every mask, and leaves only the purest form of courage, the courage to be seen, fully and without apology. And yet, this courage is not weakness. It is the source of a fierce kind of strength, one that does not shout or demand attention, but commands respect through its authenticity. You are no longer a storyteller, weaving tales to soothe or entertain. You are a seer who holds up the mirror to the collective soul and dares to show it what it must face. This is why you pull back the veil on all of them. You refuse to let anyone settle for lies when the truth burns bright, even if it hurts. You understand that growth only comes through discomfort. The transformation requires dismantling the comfortable illusions that bind us. You are the harbinger of that transformation. Your revelations are not just truths, they are calls to action. Each veil pulled back is an invitation for others to follow, to stop hiding, to confront their own shadows, and break free from the chains of denial. But be warned, the path you blaze is not for those seeking comfort. It is a path of fire and shadow, where every step forward demands surrender to truth and an unwavering commitment to authenticity. And yet, even in the darkest moments, remember that you carry within you the power to ignite change, to inspire courage, and to forge a new reality from the ashes of old lies. The silence that follows your unveiling is not emptiness. It is the pregnant pause before awakening. The world may seem to resist your depth because it fears what it cannot control or deny. But your truth is a relentless tide, and no resistance can hold back the inevitable rise of awareness and change. You are the storm that breaks the stillness, the voice that shatters complacency, the light that refuses to be dimmed. And in that storm, there is a promise that from destruction comes creation, that from chaos comes order, that from darkness comes the brightest dawn. You did not just pull back a veil, you opened a portal to a new dimension of understanding. You showed that stories are not isolated events, but threads in the vast tapestry of human experience, woven together by pain, love, struggle, and triumph. You dared to expose the interconnectedness of all these truths, revealing that beneath every surface lies a depth waiting to be explored. And though the world may not be ready now, the seeds you planted will grow. In time, those who once turned away will return, drawn by the undeniable pull of authenticity and the hunger for real connection. So stand firm in your revelation. Own the depth of your journey. You are the one who walked through the veil, who faced the darkness, who refused to settle for half-truths. You carry a fire that no storm can extinguish, a light that no shadow can hide. And as others awaken to the depth you revealed, they will see you not as a disruptor, but as a pioneer, a trailblazer who dared to go beyond stories and into the heart of truth itself. The journey is far from over. The veils are many, and each one you pull back brings new challenges, new truths, and new power. But you are ready. You have already proven that no depth is too dark, no truth too painful, no revelation too overwhelming. You are the bearer of the truth, the breaker of illusions, the one who pulled back the veil on all of them. And when the world finally opens its eyes, it will see you as the force that changed everything. To pull back the veil on all of them is to embrace a destiny few can fathom. It is to become both the torchbearer and the reckoning, to carry a burden so heavy it threatens to break those not prepared to bear it. But you are not just prepared. You are forged by this weight. Every revelation you unveil is a crack in the facade of pretense, a rupture in the carefully constructed walls that keep society comfortable and complacent. And those walls will tremble beneath the force of your truth. Because what you expose is not merely stories or lies. It is the very structure of denial, the foundation of ignorance, the pillars of fear that keep people trapped in shallow, half-lived lives. No one is ready for how deep you went, because depth is a place of radical honesty, where every shadow, every failure, every hidden shame is brought into the unforgiving light. It is a place where masks fall away, where the soul stands naked and vulnerable, yet unyielding. To go deep is to say to the world, I see you, not the illusion you present, but the raw, imperfect truth beneath. And to show others that truth is not something to be feared or hidden, but the very source of liberation and strength. You did not shy away from this truth. You embraced it, welcomed it, allowed it to burn away the falsehoods until only what was real remained. This kind of truth-telling is a revolution. It challenges the stories that soothe the masses with half-truths and easy lies. It refuses to let pain be silenced or suffering ignored. It demands recognition for the struggles that happen behind closed doors, the battles fought in silence, the resilience born from brokenness. When you pull back the veil on all of them, you strip away the comfortable narratives and reveal the raw human experience in its entirety, the beauty, the brutality, the despair, and the hope all intertwined. This is not a story for consumption. It is a challenge, a confrontation, an awakening. You carry a power that few understand, because that power comes not from illusion, but from authenticity. It is a strength born in the crucible of your deepest struggles, a force that refuses to be diminished by the world's desire for simplicity. You have faced the darkness within yourself and come out the other side, not unscathed, but unbroken. And in that survival lies your greatest strength, the ability to see clearly, to speak honestly, and to lead others through the labyrinth of their own veils. You are a guide in the wilderness of truth, the light in the abyss, the voice for those silenced by fear. No one is ready for how deep you went, and that is why you must walk your path with unwavering conviction. The resistance you face is not a sign of failure, but a testament to the power of your revelations. When the world pushes back, it is because you are shaking the very foundations of comfort and denial. You are dismantling the illusions that keep people trapped in cycles of fear and repression. And though the journey is lonely, though the path is fraught with challenge, remember this: the deepest darkness always births the brightest light. You are the spark that will ignite transformation, the catalyst that will shatter illusions, the force that will awaken a sleeping world. Your truth is a weapon and a shield. It defends your soul from the lies that seek to consume it and strikes down the falsehoods that bind others. You did not come here to tell a story that soothes or distracts. You came to pull back the veil on all of them, to reveal the full spectrum of human experience in its rawest form. And in doing so, you have opened a door that cannot be closed, a wound that must heal, a revolution that cannot be stopped. Stand in this truth with pride and power. Own the depth of your journey. You are not just a teller of stories. You are the storm that breaks through the calm, the voice that shatters silence, the light that pierces darkness. And though no one may be ready for how deep you went today, one day they will be forced to confront the truths you revealed. They will look back and see you as the force that changed everything, the pioneer who dared to go beyond stories and into the heart of what it means to be human. You did not just pull back a veil, you changed the very nature of truth itself, and for that, the world will never be the same.